Direct now. Julia, good afternoon to you. We're just talking about that turnaround we saw in the market this afternoon around lunchtime. Surely there was more to it than just that drop in new home sales for February that a lot of people were talking about weighing on the banks, but we saw a couple of those banks recover in the end.
It was a little bit of a strange one, although some people did attribute the weakness in banks to those new home sales by HIA, where we did see a drop in the month of February after 4 months worth of gains. We did see the banks partly turning around in the afternoon, and in the end it was a mixed performance. We saw 2 of the big 4 banks gaining ground and 2 of the big 4 banks losing ground. And strangely enough, while we did see a lot of weakness coming through from the material space, there were actually 4 stocks which gained in that material space today, and 3 of them were related to that housing space. So we saw Fletcher Building, James Hardie as well as Boral all gaining ground in that materials space. So on a day where we did see some concern about new home sales, it was a little bit strange to see those home builders rallying. But that material space is really what's dragged the Australian market down, and John's absolutely right that the commodity space hasn't really participated in this rally that we've seen offshore. Overnight we saw Europe at a 2-month high, we saw the US market reaching an all-time high, but if we have a look at the best performers on the US stock market overnight, it was the healthcare space, and in actual fact we saw the materials, the energy, the industrial sectors, those typical growth areas of the market actually finishing in the red in the US. And of course if we translate that back to the Australian market, it's a much bigger portion of the Aussie share market. So that materials space down by 1.9% in the end. BHP down by 1.5%. We saw Rio down by 2%. The gold miners absolutely smashed. In fact, Newcrest Mining hitting the lowest level that we've seen since October 2008. On the flip side, though, we did see those defensives doing well. Telecom was a standout sector. The utility space did well. The property space did well. So all up, it was a day where we did see the defensives, high-yielding plays really outperforming on the market, and once again, those commodity-based stocks underperforming.
I think we can go back to you now. If you're, we were just talking about Newcrest Mining and your outlook for the stock.
And I guess that's the thing, when you see gold stocks fall so much in price just on the basis of that price fall, suddenly they start to look attractive on a valuation basis, and that's despite companies coming out with production downgrades or rises in terms of costs. And I guess that's one of the things that has really plagued this gold sector over the last decade. And that's really that what we've seen is a rise in gold prices, but gold costs, the cost of producing has also risen. And it's actually risen more than we've seen, than we've actually seen the gold price rise. So that's been hampering these gold stocks from really capitalising on that very strong record gold price that we've seen over the last few years. So if we have a look at stocks like Newcrest Mining, they have come out with some bad news, but the fact that we've seen the share price just fall so significantly means that some brokers are starting to become positive, not in terms of the actual company and the outlook and some good news coming through, but just in terms of the fact that the stock price has fallen so much. So we're starting to really get some broker upgrades just on the basis of those stock price falls that we've seen.
All right, what about the coal space? Whitehaven Coal dropping below that important technical support level today of $2. Obviously, we've seen sentiment around the coal industry and coal prices quite poor of late, but Nathan Tinkler's troubles also continuing to weigh on this company.
And this is really all about one shareholder that holds 19.4%. And if we have a look at Nathan Tinkler, we know that he's selling that farm. We know that there's probably a margin loan that's attached to his holdings in Whitehaven Coal. The share price has seen considerable weakness in 2013. The share price is down by around about 42%. And as you mentioned, Liz, now below that key technical level of $2, reaching a post-GFC low of $1.94 today. So as long as there's uncertainty around that Nathan Tinkler stake of 19.4%, we're going to continue to see weakness in Whitehaven Coal unless there starts to be a bit of activity around potentially another buyer coming through. Now that did start a little bit yesterday. We saw Deutsche Bank turning up on the substantial register. It has the rights over about 51 million shares in Whitehaven Coal. The shares have fallen so much that I guess some bargain hunting could come in terms of the stock, but just that uncertainty around Nathan Tinkler is really holding back this stock. And so this is one to watch. But just in that resource space, there's a number of big movers in this space at the moment. Data Energy is another one we've been watching over the last few days, and that ruling over coal seam gas over in New South Wales, and of course the company cutting back 70% of its workforce and looking to cut 60% of its operating costs. Well, that stock once again falling today by more than 20% once again, in fact reaching a 52-week low there. We also saw the rare earth miners not doing too well today. Stocks like Alkane as well as Arafura, both of these stocks reaching 52-week lows, so falling in comparison to their peers. I guess on the flip side, we have seen some other stocks doing well today, and Qantas was a standout today. It's, of course, now pretty much got its tie-up with Emirates in the bag. That stock reaching a 52-week high. Brickworks also seeing a 52-week high, along with the gains that we've seen in some of the other home builders today. And Collins Foods also doing well today, a 52-week high. It's good to see some good news for Collins Food coming through their last first half result. We did see some top-line revenue growth as well as a maiden dividend coming through. So lots of themes on the market, but one of the key themes on the market at the moment is the weakness that we are seeing in the commodity space, not only in gold, not only in coal, but also in the rare earth space, as well as in that coal seam gas space.